Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. Hopefully, we'll get Dee Dee Woodson in just a matter of minutes. I did send her an invite. However, this is the show that all you guys have been waiting for, our review of SmackDown 1000. It went down last night from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. And more importantly, it was exclusively on the USA Network. And I'm going to say it, for most of the people that I heard, it was a good show. It was solid, very nostalgic, however, very short. It was only 2 hours like any other SmackDown show. There was even talk about possibly this being a 3 hour program. So, I mean, I don't know if it would have been 3 hours, but I will say this. It definitely was an amazing show. It definitely was pretty awesome. And let's just kick it right off. We started off with True TV, and it had the beautiful Carmella in a very lovely dress, R-Truth looking dapper himself. And the guest that they had was none other than the commissioner of Monday Night Raw, Stephanie McMahon. Okay, now, of course, I would have said, what the hell? She's Raw. But remember, before she was the commissioner of Monday Night Raw, Stephanie McMahon was SmackDown general manager. And one of her big moments on SmackDown was when she became the World Wrestling Federation Women's Champion, pulling off a major upset, well, with the help of D-Generation X. But she ended up winning the Women's Championship on SmackDown. And then, of course, she had a lot of great moments in her tenure. So she started talking and was interrupted by current commissioner of SmackDown Live, Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon. He's back. A nice little back and forth. We're going at it. And then the coup de grace, the moment WWE's Imperial Grand Poobah was in the house. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Mr. McMahon himself, made his triumphant return in Washington, D.C. And then they went and he's like, you know what? We're done talking. Let's get down to dancing. So, okay, entertaining segment. Nothing to really write home about. Of course, you got the nice little bickering between Stephanie and Shane, just like any other family. I know. Maybe, Mike, you know this better because you have a sister. Anthony, obviously, you have a sister. I do. And sometimes me and my sis, we kind of we kind of clash heads once in a rare while. I'm not saying all the time, but there's some moments where we kind of like to ruffle each other's feathers. And Dee Dee, I think you probably are in the same boat on that too. Solid, nice. It was also a nostalgia factor because it's nice to see the McMahon family all together, all at once. Nothing bad to say. Great way to start the show. And then, of course, I don't mind the dancing either. I think it's pretty cool. So, Anthony, come on in, my friend. I thought an okay start to the show.
Absolutely an okay show start to the show there, MF. I'll tell you. But yeah, it was solid. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but it was a nice way to start the show. I mean, it's well documented that I have started to take a personal liking to Carmella. I think she's amazing, and yeah, I mean, she looked incredible. I mean, but anywho, great moment for to see the McMahon family, three of them in the ring together. I believe, if I recall correctly, the last time we saw that was Raw 25 back in January in Brooklyn. But yeah, I mean, good to see Shano. I mean, it's been a minute since we've seen him. And Raw invading SmackDown Live there with Stephanie, you know, as the commissioner. But remember, she was general manager of SmackDown once upon a time. You know, the very first general manager of SmackDown. And then, of course, Vinnie Mac. I mean, that crowd, they sang along. They sang the theme song. I mean, that was pretty cool. So, yeah. So, to see the McMahons getting down and seeing Shane O'Mac, I mean, I only wish that was me, you know, twirling Carmella around like that. I mean, I would have been living it up. I mean, I know I'm not much of a party animal, and you know, because you know how I am, you know, holy roller and all that. But I like to have fun once in a while. Good, clean fun, you know, not crazy fun, but good, clean fun, you know, in the name of the Lord. And that's exactly what I would have done. I wish it was me that was twirling her around like that, like Shayna was. But other than that, solid way to start the show. Nothing more to say. So, Bola, come on in. I mean, solid way to start it off. I mean, not the greatest, but it was solid though.
I mean, yeah, it definitely was a solid way to start off SmackDown 1000. And, yeah, and of course, Stephanie McMahon coming out basically. I mean, we had some great moments on SmackDown, said, as the general manager of SmackDown. And, of course, where she won the women's title on SmackDown, of course, with a little bit of help from D-Generation X, but she had some great moments, but it was certainly good to see Shane O'Mac back. I mean, the last time I think we saw him was the Greatest Royal Rumble, when he was in that Greatest Royal Rumble match, and he got put through that announce table by Braun Strowman, and we haven't seen him since. So good to see him back. But the ultimate thing was we got to see the boss, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and then they all danced off. So yeah, I thought it was a solid way to start off this edition of SmackDown 1000. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but still, I enjoyed it. So Dee Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Hey, I thought having Truth TV started off was better than having Miz TV started off, because we all know how I feel about the Miz, so I'm not even going to get started with that one. But this was a very good way to start it off. The dance segments were kind of cute and cool, and just seeing the fans get into it. I'm not a Carmella fan, but it, just seeing her with Truth, kind of she kind of changes her personality a little bit, so it makes her a little more likable. Um, I'm still not a gigantic fan, but of her, but I mean, it gives me a chance to see her in a different light. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Vince dancing. Vince, don't quit your day job. But it was kind of cool to see the old man get down though. But no, I think watching Shane and them dance was a little more enjoyable. But yeah, it was a good way to start the show. Fun and cute. So yeah, not much more I'm gonna say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
All right, let's get into the in-ring action. That's what we're here for. That's what we always talk about, the in-ring action. And we started it off with a hot one. It was the WWE champion AJ Styles, and the man he will be facing off with at the Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Yes, the show is still on as of now. Anything can change, but as of now, it's still on. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles team up, and they go up against, well, none other than one of the most successful tag teams on SmackDown Live, the Usos. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout at 8 minutes and 33 seconds was the Usos. They get the victory. Anthony Florio, you lead off. What did you think?
Second best fight of the night for me. There was one better. I'm going to be quite honest. I'm going to give this a solid 3 for the effort. I wish we could have had more considering the talent involved. I mean, you give these 20+ minutes on a TV or a pay-per-view, we're looking at 5 easy, because we all know all 4 of these guys can go. And I'm not surprised with the outcome. I mean, you obviously want to start building tension between Daniel and AJ. We all know Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles are far and away the 2 most over guys on SmackDown Live. Let's not kid ourselves. Hello, remember ridiculously over Daniel Bryan, the infamous meme from Meme Gene? I mean, but AJ Styles is just as ridiculously over. We all know that. This is a dream match for the IWC. These are, 2 of the biggest IWC darlings in there today. And man, Saudi Arabia, you're in for a treat. Let me tell you that. We're looking at 5 easy with those 2. Usos, nice win for them. I mean, they needed a win. It's been a while since they've had like a momentous win, and they finally got it here. So good for them. I mean, it served its purpose. The only downside is I wish they could have had more time, but other than that, very good match. Second best fight for me. There was one I thought was just a smidgen better, so I'm going to give this a solid 3. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it 3 stars as well. I mean, this was a very good way to start it off with the matches portion. I mean, I wish it could have gone longer, but you put this on a pay-per-view, this could be like Florio said, 5 stars. But yeah, I mean, you want to start building the tension with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan going into their WWE title match at the Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia. Nice win for the Usos, so they certainly needed it. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, definitely a 3-star match. Definitely a good way to start building, the tension between Daniel and AJ. The loss was definitely what they needed to get that started. It was a good opener for SmackDown, and good way to, I guess, lead into Crown Jewel, which we still have quite a ways to go before they get there. So this is going to, be a good way to at least start that building up for that match. So not much more I have to say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
Solid match, no doubt about it. I'll give this about 3 stars as well. It could have been a lot more better if it was given more time, but I think everybody who played the roles in the match was really well. You could see that there was dissension among the ranks between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. It's basically survival of the fittest, and unfortunately, in a tag team match like that, you can't be one thinking that he's the alpha, the other thinking he's the alpha, because that is definitely going to lead to disaster. And unfortunately, it did lead to disaster for Daniel Bryan and for AJ Styles. But it is nice little rivalry that's going on right now. And like we said, depending on what the pay-per-view or what the event is, because there's been a couple of rumors going around that maybe they might do Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. If they don't do it there, Manchester, England was a possible location for the event, because right after that, they do go to England for a couple of nights, doing a SmackDown and Raw tapings there. Even there was one talk about possibly pushing it all the way to Survivor Series. So, I mean, we don't know what the future may hold, because of not only the political climate that we are in at the moment, but we're not going to get into that tonight. But there's also a lot of stuff that has happened in the news that has shed some very negative light on Saudi Arabia, especially on the Saudi regime. But again, not our place to talk about it. Even though it is very serious in nature, what has happened over there and what has been going on. I don't want to gloss over it at all or say that it's not irrelevant. It is relevant. It is very important. But like again, it's something that, we'll get into it on another night, because I don't want to bring this show down. This is about SmackDown 1000. Once we get into Crown Jewel, if the event does go into Saudi Arabia, if the show does happen, then we'll address it at that point and time. So, with that said, let's get into something that was really awesome. Evolution reunites Dave Bautista, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, and the Game, Triple H, and Michael Bullock. Oh my goodness. Everything was fine until Batista took the mic. And then, whoa, Nelly.
First off, I can say, I mean, it was good to see Evolution back together. I mean, they were one of the most stable groups in WWE. I mean, especially on the Raw side, because this was like the first time we got to see them on SmackDown. And yeah, I mean, and there's one memory that I'll always remember, and that was that night of Armageddon 2003 when Evolution held all the gold. When you had Triple H as the World Heavyweight Champion, Randy Orton as the Intercontinental Champion, and Batista and Ric Flair were the World Tag Team Champions. I mean, that was a sight I don't think anybody would have imagined. But I mean, it was good until Batista, like you said, basically took the mic and basically saying, Orton is a 13-time world champion special. Of course, we know everything about Ric Flair and Triple H saying he changed this business and this is his business. And he said, you know what? There's nothing that he hasn't done, and that is beat Triple H. I mean, we were all like, oh boy. And let's not forget, they had a little bit of a rivalry going back to 2005 at WrestleMania 21 when Batista won the World Heavyweight Championship. They had a couple of other matches, including a Hell in a Cell. So, and then all of a sudden, Triple H and Batista hugged and basically laughed it out to end it. So, now here's the thing, guys. I mean, after seeing that, I did hear some kind of rumor about maybe Batista coming back and facing Triple H one more time. I do not know. I mean, as Derek Ferrer would like to say, take it with a grain of salt, or
I've heard possibly WrestleMania. I've heard
now
possibly.
I did not hear that.
Yeah. There is a rumor, and this is a rumor, that they might be setting up Triple H versus Batista WrestleMania at MetLife Stadium in New York. That is a rumor. Again, take it with a grain of salt, but that was something that I heard. I read a dirt sheet saying they're thinking of planting the seeds for a Triple H versus Batista for Mania, and that what happened last night was possibly the kickoff of a possible WrestleMania fight.
Yeah, so like we said, take it with a grain of salt, or as Anthony Flora would say, read into it what you will. So I got nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, I mean, what are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I'll say this much. During Batista's talk, if looks could kill, he probably would have been dead from Randy Orton for a lot of that segment, because from what I understand, there used to be a lot of heat between the two of them. So that was genuine surprise on Randy's face when Batista said kind words about him. You could definitely tell a lot when he was talking that Triple H was like looking like, don't say something to screw this up. This is supposed to be a momentous night or whatever, because you never know what's going to come out of Batista's mouth. And of course, we found out. And again, the looks could kill between Triple H and Batista before they hugged it out. And even afterwards, Triple H still looked like he was still trying to figure out what just happened. Randy backing away, like, I don't want to get in the middle of this, and, I can't believe he just said that type looks. Rick trying to hold the whole thing together. It was a very interesting segment. It was a good segment. It was good to see them back together, especially since the rumors started out that Batista wasn't going to be there at all, and then all of a sudden Batista's coming. So, hey, we're going to throw Evolution together, which is good. So basically, within this month, we've had 2 Triple H factions come back together. So this definitely, I guess you could say, a Triple H month with everything going on. So I'm not going to say too much more about it. Fletch, it's yours.
Definitely a great segment. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. The MVP of this segment was definitely Batista. I mean, he was on fire on this one, man. I don't know if it was because of the fact that he was home in Washington D.C., because that is his hometown. And yeah, Randy Orton did take a little bit of some shade at Batista, talking about him with the makeup chair. Obviously, Batista, now an actor, actually a pretty good actor for that. Was in a couple of movies already. Was actually Inspector, the James Bond flick with Daniel Craig, and actually you guys know him as Dax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was also in the Avenger, one of the latest Avenger movies. So he's definitely done very well acting wise, and he's become quite a Hollywood star now, a la John Cena, or Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So he's done pretty well for himself. And Batista's like, all right, I'll let you live with that. Then he talked about Ric Flair and everything else, talked about the credit and the whole 9 yards. Then tells Ric Flair to keep it in, to keep his little Nate in the drawer. I started dying in laughter. Triple H and Randy were also laughing, but it is Nate. I mean, we all know Nature Boy Ric Flair. Yeah, he is definitely not a PG guy, to say the very least. So I died laughing. That was hilarious, man. I was almost on the floor rolling. And yes, Anthony, I was doing the little whooping laugh, like like you love. And then after that, yeah, Batista just basically goes incinerator and basically roast Triple H big time at the end. I was like, wow, oh my god. But there's nothing more to say, man. This was definitely one of the top segments of the evening. It was definitely a great highlight for SmackDown 1000. Anthony Floyd, with all that, it's all yours, my friend.
Can we agree segment of the night here? I think so. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, segment of the night indeed. I mean, all 4 were great. They were. I mean, Orton as that condescending heel that everybody loves to hate. That's what Randy Orton did. Triple H, doing his usual thing. Ric Flair having his fun. 69 years old and still wheeling and dealing. God bless him. My man. And of course, as great as they all were, there's no doubt about it. Absolutely nailed it. Dave Batista was the star of this segment without a doubt. I mean, yeah, I mean, 4 years ago, everybody, especially in the IWC, they were hating on him mainly because he was the one. I mean, they blamed him more than anybody for Daniel Bryan being held back. I mean, he was the intricate part of the Yes movement, and the fans just booed him and booed him and booed him, Bautista, the whole 9 yards. But yeah, they welcomed him back with the open arms, and yeah, I've heard those same rumors about Batista and Triple H, possibly at WrestleMania 35. If they do it, I think Triple H will get the win here because, they said that Triple H has never beaten Batista, and that's true. WrestleMania 21, Batista took the World Heavyweight Championship from Triple H, and then they had 2 rematches, and Batista won them both. The Backlash in 05, and then, of course, inside Hell in a Cell that blew off the feud once and for all. But yeah, Dave Batista, though, man, give it up for him. He was the star of that segment, without a doubt. I mean, don't get me wrong, all 4 were one. All 4 did very well. I mean, nothing bad about that segment whatsoever. But without a doubt, Dave Batista, the star of the segment. He was the MVP. Well done, man. That was well done. That may be the best promo he's ever cut. And he's not even an active wrestler anymore. Go figure. Well done. Well done, sir. So nothing more to say on this segment of the night. Great touch of nostalgia. First time ever on SmackDown Live. But for those 4 as a unit. And it definitely brought back some great memories for this Raw guy, without a doubt, because we all know, Ruthless Aggression era, nobody dominated Monday Night Raw more than Evolution. Amen to that, MF?
No, total agreement with that. Evolution was, without a doubt, the most powerful, dominating, and one of the strongest forces in WWE. There was no doubt about it. What they were doing was unreal. All right, guys, so let's move right along. Unfortunately, I hate to say this, but we had ourselves a cutout. It was The Miz going one-on-one with Rusev. The winner would be qualifying for the World Cup that will be going down at the Crown Jewel event. And the winner of the bout in 1 minute and 21 seconds was The Miz. Basically, what happened was Aiden English came out, was close to ringside, propelled and caused the distraction, and that gave The Miz to get the roll-up victory and the 1-2-3 to win the match and advance to the World Cup at the Crown Jewel. So he gets the golden ticket. All right. We start off the next half of the show with another segment, but this one was just as good. The Rated R Superstar Edge has the cutting edge. His guest, none other than SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch, interrupted by Charlotte Flair. And here we go again. The greatest rivalry right now on any show on Raw or SmackDown, male or female. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Another brawl breaks out. This time, they brought the referees, they brought the WWE agents out, and oh my goodness, they just could not keep these 2 Hellcats apart. Um, Nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, really good showing by everybody involved. Charlotte, not so much. Becky was straight fire. And Edge, man, the Rated R Superstar, man. I bow down to the awesome one known as Edge.
And everything that he spoke to Becky, pretty much the truth. I mean, you look back at his career, and one of the latest that you could possibly pop into that would be the triangle we had with Edge, Lita, and Matt. Of course, that burned that bridge big time there. So yeah, I mean, he was speaking the truth to Becky. You can get titles, but anytime you want, and hang on to them, fight for them. But friends are hard to hang on to and hard to get, especially if you're having the type of attitude she's having right now. But of course, even though she's supposed to be the heel, she's still the fan favorite. They're still booing Charlotte, who's supposed to be the fan favorite, who's supposed to be the good girl. But yeah, I definitely, all hell broke loose by the time Charlotte got out there. And Becky's, she's pulling off the heel, not as well as a lot of people would expect, but she's still pulling it off to a point. But yeah, this was a very well done segment. Definitely a a storyline boost for Evolution coming up, and just nailing it right there. That these two hatred has definitely surpassed what we had on Raw with Sasha and Bailey. So this is the hatred's really grown a lot here. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't tried to send these two to Dr. Shelby yet. So, not much more I have to say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
Did you have to bring the Dr. Shelby into this? Really?
Oh gosh.
Yep, I had to bring Dr. Shelby.
You had to bring that idiot, that buffoon on the show.
Yeah,
hey, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. This is my payback to you guys for all the times that I've had to take you all out to the woodshed.
I guess we could let her slide one time,
but if she
don't
brings
ever
up
bring
that name again.
Let's put it this way. I'm your elder to all of you because I'm the oldest person on this panel.
True. I'll give you that. Man, I can't believe she pulled that card out, man. Are you serious? All right. So
that's one hell of a punk card, if I might say so.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. There's no doubt about it. This is the best rivalry on the men's or women's side combined. This was a really good segment. I loved what Edge did, just trying to bring light for Becky, just to let her know, hey, respect what you've done, but you got to see it from my perspective. And he tried to talk some sense into her, and I think she got it for the most part. But then there was a couple of points, especially towards the end, where he lost her. And I think that's why, because of the fact that, what Charlotte did to win the SmackDown Women's title, and the way she did it kind of was underhanding. It was undercut because you can say it was a lot of factors. You can blame it on Paige, you can blame it on management, you can blame it on whatever you want. But the fans have made their choice. They are gonna ride or die with Becky Lynch, and that is very clear. Even though she's trying to
Did we just lose him?
We may have. Yeah.
I guess you should just take it for a spin.
I believe he was, giving his thoughts on that cutting edge segment with Edge, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. So while MF gets regrouped here, I'm gonna, take the reins for just a little bit here, since I am the next of kin here, if you will. So, I would say second best segment of the night. It would have been the segment of the night if it wasn't for that awesome Evolution segment and Dave Bautista. But for my taste, I mean, this was great. I mean, Edge still looks great. I mean, it's a damn shame he had to retire in his prime, but you know, things happen. You know, injuries are part of the business. But then, you know, oh, there he is. There's MF. Did you want to finish your train of thought there, MF?
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. For some odd reason, my connection dropped on me. So
Yeah, do you want to just finish
all
up
right.
what you were saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish up my thought. Like I said, I apologize. For some odd reason, my connection just threw me right off. No reason, no rhyme, no reason. I don't know what happened there. But okay, so back to my original thought. I loved what they were doing. I loved what they were trying to play. Obviously, it just adds more fuel to the fire to like I said, the best rivalry in WWE right now. It's better than any other rivalry I've seen in wrestling. There's nothing more to say about it. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Well, as I said before, second best segment of the night for me. I mean, this came out great. I mean, the only downside was Charlotte was a little flat, but other than that, I mean, Edge and Becky were just amazing. I mean, Edge, you know, being that veteran / Hall of Famer, you know, giving that advice to Becky Lynch, you know, because he said that Becky reminded him a lot of what Edge used to do. I mean, we all know the heinous things that Edge did, whether it was on SmackDown Live or Raw. I mean, especially SmackDown Live, you know, he ran down the laundry list. We're not going to rehash that. But, I mean, and for Becky, I mean, the fans love her. She's the darling of the IWC. She's the queen of the IWC, for goodness sakes. For the love of God, we need a double turn here. We need to turn Charlotte heel because they don't like her. She's getting the Roman treatment. They're trying to push her like Roman Reigns and John Cena, for goodness sakes. Becky Lynch is a star. That's all there is to say about that. And that segment, I mean, what she did last night, that promo she cut, that might have been her personal best since her heel turn there. And you know, saying "Get out of my ring" and don't be careful again. Oh, savage, as Luigi PS3 would say. That was savage on the part of Becky Lynch. I mean, just as savage as what Ronda Rousey said the other night on Raw in that epic segment with the Bellas that we're still raving about. But nonetheless, I mean, well done, Becky Lynch. That was incredible. I mean, she just keeps getting better and better and better. They're trying to push her as a heel, but McMahon family, creative team, listen to the fans. They love her. They don't want to boo her. She's the queen of the IWC, for Christ's sake. Come on now. Listen to the fans. I know it's hard for you. I know you're not killing.
It's just not working.
You're right, Bullock. You're right.
It's just not working. And the bad thing about it is when she said that about Edge, the fans cheered.
They love her. She's the queen of the IWC. That's it. Do I have to spell it out anymore? That's all there is to say on it. So, well, I'm going to spell a word for you. Creative team. I know you're not watching. That's fine. You have better things to do, obviously. But I got a 6-letter word that I want you all to hear. LISTEN. Listen to your fans. Bullet, go. Second best segment of the night.
Exactly. Yeah, this was the second best segment of the night. I mean, yeah, Edge and Becky Lynch were awesome, but I mean, Edge trying to do what she can to basically, or what he can to basically get Becky to come to reason, but that did not work, and she basically said, "You know what? Get the heck out of my ring," and then saying, "Don't hurt your neck going through those ropes." And that, to me, I mean, that was a little disrespectful, if I'm going to be quite honest. But and when the fans cheered, and this is why we continue to say, Becky Lynch should still be a babyface, and Charlotte should be the heel. So, yeah, there's nothing more to say. So, I'm sorry, I'm just a little off here because I'm just watching Game 4 of the American League Championship Series, and the Sox have just regained the lead with thanks to Jackie Bradley Jr. again. So, just a quick little update there. So, Fletch, it's yours.
All right, very well. And we're just going to move right along, guys. Next thing we had was for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It was the Bar versus the New Day. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in about 13 minutes and 44 seconds and new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They don't set the bar. They are the bar. They've won the titles. I believe this is their first title win on SmackDown Live. So they were definitely one of the great tag teams on Monday Night Raw. Now ever since they made the move to SmackDown Live, thanks to that superstar shakeup, they haven't had many opportunities, and they hit pay dirt last night with a little help from the Big Show, but more importantly, crowning of new tag team champions. History was made at the nation's capitals last night. Oh my. Good tag team title fight. I'll give it that. And more importantly, it was a remarkable win. Cesaro and Sheamus have really worked their way up on SmackDown Live, and now they are the kings of the division, taking the titles away from the New Day. Yes, again, like I said, with a little bit of help from the Big Show, it looks like Big Show is definitely made another heel turn for the 20 billionth time, but whatever. But it looks like he's going to be an enforcer, a bodyguard for Sheamus and Cesaro. I don't know if they really need him, but if this is what they're going to do, something a la what Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman has on Monday Night Raw, then I guess that'll be fine. But what I really like is the Bar is the new tag team champions on SmackDown Live. I think that is going to be the biggest story of the night more than anything else, is that, you know, normally on these shows, these special shows, you hardly ever get anything like this. But on SmackDown 1000, a title changed hands. I don't think none of us saw this coming. So, remarkable, awesome, 3-star fight. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Slight disagreement because I have it a little bit higher, honestly. This to me was the fight of the night. I got to give this about 3.25 to 3.5 stars. This was an amazing tag team championship matchup. I told you all it was a matter of time before the Bar was going to become SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Right team went over. Yes, a Big Show with his 1,000th heel turn or what have you. Only fitting because, you know, it was the 1,000th episode of SmackDown Live. Hey, let's turn heel. Let's turn Big Show heel for the 1,000th time. And that's exactly what happened here. I mean, I don't think anybody has turned face and heel more than he has throughout his entire career, whether it was WWE or WCW or whatever. I mean, nobody has done that more than Big Show has. Let's not kid ourselves. And I guess they're now going to be known as the Bar Show. And that'll be interesting. I mean, you know, Raw has, you know, 2-3-man alliances, you know, with the Shield. And, well, after the implosion of Dogs of War, I guess maybe it's just the Shield now. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see come Monday in Providence when we go to that. But for now, Sheamus, Cesaro, and the Big Show, I'll give that. I'm definitely intrigued on that. So, but nonetheless, the Bar and the New Day, whether it's SmackDown Live or Monday Night Raw, they've always had great matches together. And this is the second, and 2 of the Bar's tag team championship wins have come against the New Day. I mean, they ended the New Day's historic run that 483-day run as the Raw Tag Team Champions at the Roadblock End of the Line pay-per-view at the end of 2016. We all remember that. And now, nearly 2 years later, they do it again, this time on SmackDown Live. So they now become only the second tag team to win both the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The other, of course, their opponents, who they took the titles off of, the New Day. So New Day and the Bar, the only two teams that can say, hey, we've won both the Raw and the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So looking forward to the rematch. I'm sure we're going to get a rematch down the road. Probably on a SmackDown Live because, like I said, the Crown Jewel card is pretty much all set. Because you got that one-night tournament. That's 7 matches alone right there. And then those 3 huge main events. So that's all I can say there. I don't think it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. I think it's going to be on a future SmackDown Live. Because I really doubt they'll want to wait a month until the Survivor Series. So, because I'm still thinking we're going to get Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series once again. And we all know the end result of that. So that's all I'm going to say here. Fight of the night, bar none. 3 1/4, 3.5 stars. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I mean, we know it. 2 things. 1, our boy refereed this match, so a big moment for him.
Danilo and Fabio.
Yes, sir. And on top of that, they don't just set the bar, buddy.
They are the bar.
The bar. Danilo and Fabio, how you doing?
Yes, this was definitely the fight of the night. I'll give it about 3.5 stars as well. I mean, great work by both teams. I mean, we know the history with both of them. I mean, Sheamus and Cesaro were the ones that ended the long reign of the New Day as the tag team champions, and now of course they've done it again. Only this time on SmackDown Live, and they have made history. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes with the Big Show being with them. So yeah, so nothing more to say. And before I give it to Dee Woodson, Fletch and Florio, let's say it together. They don't just set the bar. What do they do, fellas? They are the bar. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
I think, yeah, she had to step away for the moment, so we're just gonna have
let's
to
just move right along.
Yep, we're just gonna have to wait for Dee Dee to get back. Hopefully she'll be back momentarily. Hopefully it won't be too long. Well, guys, it's time to get into at least the last match of the evening on the fight card, and this one is not only a first-time matchup. This is a dream fight, to say the very least. Rey Mysterio, the master of the 619, goes up against the king of the strong style, Shinsuke Nakamura. This is Lucha Libre of Mexico style versus hard-nosed, in-your-face, what they called strong style of Japan. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout and the 8th and final participant to be a part of the Crown Jewel WWE World Cup event is none other than Rey Mysterio. He wins the match at 9 minutes and 55 seconds, just a hair under 10 minutes. I believe this goes to Michael Bullock. So
He's back
all
in.
right. Oh, well, all right. So, Dee Dee, just give me your quick thoughts on the WWE Tag Team title fight.
It was interesting. Big Show jumping in on that was kind of interesting. I'll go about 3 stars on it. It was a good match. It's just that was kind of a surprise to see that happen. So not much more I'm gonna say about it. Yeah, Kevin says it was unnecessary. So.
All right, and with that said, Michael Bullock, we're gonna give it to you anyway. Main event: Nakamura versus Mysterio. Mysterio wins. He's going to Saudi Arabia to fight for the WWE World Cup.
I'll give it about 2.5 to 3 stars. I mean, it's good to see Rey Mysterio back on SmackDown Live, and he's had so many good moments on SmackDown. I mean, especially his biggest moment was, of course, at WrestleMania when he won the World Heavyweight title, and now he's back and a matchup against Shinsuke Nakamura. So I thought both men looked really good, and I gotta be quite honest, guys. I don't think Rey Mysterio has lost a step here. I mean, he continues to be that high flying lucha libre that we all know and love. So he wins. He now joins John Cena, Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, and now you can add Mysterio to the mix. So nothing more to say. Didi Whitson, I give it to you. The master of the 619 is back.
That he is, and this was definitely, you could say, a dream match to see these guys, because I mean, you have this man from the from China in there going at it with the Mexican luchador here. I mean, that was just two styles that are so different but so the same, and just watching them go. I mean, you just have this very I mean, it's almost like a magical type thing. I mean, it's just watching them go. It's like poetry. So I mean, it was very, very well done. Very good match. Congratulations to Ray for winning and moving on to Crown Jewel, where he is, you could basically say, the only competitor that is, he's American but has the Mexican type backing as well. So yeah, very well done. Good way to end the matches part of SmackDown. So not much more I have to say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
3 stars, no doubt about it. This was a fantasy dream come true for all of us. I mean, see Rey Mysterio, he looks good. Definitely did not miss a step. Nakamura looked amazing as usual. Solid fight, and it just had it was a good feeling after that fight was over. There was nothing bad to say about it whatsoever. Great matchup, good solid TV quality main event match that you could get anywhere in the world, and how fitting for SmackDown 1000 to have that kind of fight. Well done. Nothing more to say. Anthony Floyo, it's yours.
2.5 to 3 is my rating for this. Just like with that opening tag match, I wish we could have gotten more, considering the talent involved. I mean, that's a theme here. I mean, you give these guys 20 on a pay-per-view or whatever, 5 easy. We know the body of work of these two. It's incredible. Rey Mysterio, I believe he's like 44 years old now, and he's still performing at a high level. Credit where credit is due. And World Cup field, I mean, they call it the World Cup, but 7 of the 8 are all Americans. Rey Mysterio, I'm pretty sure he's the only non-American. I mean, he's Mexican, isn't he, MF?
Yes, he is.
I thought so. So, I mean, you know better than anybody. You know the lineage behind Rey Mysterio. I mean, but nonetheless, I mean, it doesn't matter what the nationality is. I mean, you got a star-studded field. I mean, both shows are well represented. For SmackDown Live, you now have Rey Mysterio joining the likes of The Miz, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy. MF, that's a great core 4 you boys have there. But will it be enough to counteract our core 4 on Monday Night Raw with John Cena, Kurt Angle, Seth Rollins, and Dolph Ziggler? Only time will tell. But mark my words, I am hoping that the final match, whoever it is, I'm hopeful that it's a Raw versus SmackDown. And then we can not only have a battle for brand supremacy, but we can also determine the World Cup that way as well. It would be a 2-for-1 deal. if you know what I mean. So I'm hopeful for it. I'm very anxious to see what they're going to do as far as how the bracket's going to go. So there's really nothing more for me to say on this. I mean, it's a top 3 fight of the night for sure. 2.5 to 3. I wish we could have gotten more. Mysterio and Nakamura, they should have gotten way more time. That's all there is to say about that. And if you had done that, then we would have been talking fight of the night. But it is what it is. So welcome back, Ray. You heard the fans. You still got it. You damn right he does. So nothing more to say. Did Bullet go? Or
Yeah, I did.
He actually started the
Okay.
segment. Yeah.
All right. So let's oh boy. We get to move on to Bullock's idol, his hero.
Yeah, basically right at the end of the show, the Undertaker comes out. Very short, very sweet, straight to the point. They were plugging about the Crown Jewel fight, DX versus the Brothers of Destruction, and basically Taker was very quick, didn't have to say anything, just said just a very few words, but pretty much he made it very clear. At Crown Jewel, he has 3 words for D-Generation X. Rest in peace. And that's how SmackDown 1000 comes to a close. Dee Woodson, can you give me a quick thought about it? Probably not much, but just a quick thought.
Well, I kind of wish it was a little bit longer, but short and sweet, got to the point, and in his own way, but that's his way of progressing the storyline for the pay-per-view. So that's about all I'm going to say about it. So next.
All right. Well, I'm going to say it like this. I think WWE was a little rushed for time. I think that's why they probably told Taker just try to get it out quick. I think that was the best thing they could have done. I mean, it was short, it was sweet, it was straight to the point, it was powerful enough because Taker is Taker. It kind of was a little bit of a letdown because of the fact that I think they knew they were running out of time. They were really trying to force this out. And this is that one of those moments where I wish SmackDown would have extended the time over, give us a little extra like they do on Monday Night Raw. But unfortunately, you got to construct it into a 2-hour time frame. I think they definitely got it done. It's just a little bit of a letdown because, like I said, I really thought that they were going to go maybe a couple of minutes overlap, but they didn't do it. It is what it is. But, I mean, good way to close the show. And plus, it's Taker, man. Taker is like one of the legends of SmackDown Live. There's really nothing more to say. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Short and sweet and to the point. I mean, I agree. Way too short. I mean, you should have made more time for him. I mean, after all, The Undertaker was a big deal on SmackDown Live way back when. I mean, he had a couple runs as the World Heavyweight Champion. You all remember that? Had that great rivalry with Edge. And, had some other great feuds, but the Edge feud was far and away the best. And, just a simple warning, just a simple firing shot to D-Generation X. That's all there is to say. I mean, this is another thing. You should have gotten more time. And I agree, MF. The show should not have been 2 hours. It should have been 3. They should have made this a 3-hour show. And I'll get into some more of that in my overall review. So I'm not going to beat around the bush here. So Oleg, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about your man, so it's all yours.
Yes, I mean, it was short, but Undertaker, I mean, he made it sweet and to the point it was powerful. I mean, he basically just sent out that warning to D-Generation X and saying that a crown jewel, that they'll rest in peace. I mean, and like you said, guys, the Undertaker was the backbone to SmackDown. I mean, he's had some great moments on the show. I mean, basically his rivalries with Edge and of course I'll never forget that time when he first came back as the man from the dark side in 2004. And you guys remember that, right? When Paul Heyman he was literally, let's just say, he was wetting his pants when The Undertaker came out. And let's just say he got a tombstone for his effort, for getting in the dead man's way. And yeah, also his rivalry with Batista, a couple of runs as the World Heavyweight Champion. So to see him back on SmackDown Live for the first time in almost 2 years, it's a sight to see. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to say. So, Fletch, let's get into the overall review of this SmackDown 1000.
And it leads off with Dee Woodson. So, Dee, give me your thoughts. What did you think of SmackDown 1000?
I'm gonna give it probably 7.5. You know, it was a entertaining show. It had some very strong moments. We only had one cutout, which don't get me started on that because I don't like how that match went anyway. It was, of course, it has the Miz in it, so I'm not even going to attempt to touch it. But you know, we had some really strong points. You had really great matches. A lot of what SmackDown's known for, storyline progression, and you know, you had the heat there, especially with Becky Lynch and Charlotte. I mean, it's just you had a little bit of everything from the bosses showing up to even the comedy stuff with the dancing and stuff like that. So I mean, it was even good to see JR and Booker T during the tag match. I don't know if y'all, I don't remember if anybody mentioned that or not, but it was good to see them at the announce table, even though it was not JR, the King and Booker. Even though it was the New Day pancake table, which is kind of ridiculous, but oh well. It was still good to see them out there, you know, being a part of all this. So yeah, it was a very well done show. Still, you know, Taker should have had more time. He, you know, he's one of the backbones of the not just SmackDown, but of the whole company. I mean, you should give your top guys, you know, more time than what he got. Yeah, short, sweet, to the point, but still, you know, it is what it is. But still, you know, your big man, don't cut him off. Don't make it short to the fact to where, you know, you blink and you miss it. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, no, I agree with the 7.5 out of 10 rating. I thought this was a very good show. It was brilliantly done by WWE. The nostalgia factor was definitely there. It felt like the right thing to do. We had a great show with a lot of people, you know, a lot of people that were very influential to SmackDown's 1000 episodes. Vicky Guerrero, Tilo, John Laurinaitis. I don't even know how on earth Laurinaitis was influential to SmackDown, but whatever. We're just gonna go with that. When they had with Paige, obviously Vince, Shane, Stephanie, they are definitely influential. Edge, very influential on SmackDown Live because of his success as World Heavyweight Champion, and being a rated R superstar. So, I mean, all in all, the event itself with the legends were great. It was solid. It was perfect. The flow of the show, I think, was a little more rushed than usual. Normally, it goes smoothly, everything else, but this time around, it felt fast. It felt a lot more faster. Like they were cramming so much into 2 hours. This is one of those times where I wish they would have extended it. Give it 2 hours and 5 minutes, maybe 2:15. Just give it a little more leeway, like you do with Monday Night Raw. A lot of the times in the past, Raw has gone about 5-10 minutes over. I think there was one time it went like 30 minutes over. When it was like I think it was in that 2 hour time frame. There was one night where the fight went over 2 hours and like I think it was like 2 hours and 30 minutes. One show it went over the limit that it was supposed to go over. Even in the 3 hour format, I think the most it's ever gone was like 3:20. 3 hours and 20 minutes for one Monday Night Raw. So I mean, I don't mind if I would not have mind if SmackDown would have gone a little over time. I don't think the advertisers would have been really angry, or USA would have been angry when you have a 1,000th episode. I think you can get away with a little bit to go over the time limit. Now I understand, because you also got you had the mixed match challenge, plus you were also taping for 205 Live. I get that you don't want to end it. You want to end it at that point, but still, for a show like this, I would not mind if it would have gone 5 or 10 minutes over. I don't think WWE would have gotten killed for that, but it is what it is. The show was amazing. It definitely beat Monday Night Raw this week. Raw just didn't even attempt to do anything. They knew they were gonna. They knew they were putting all the eggs in the basket for Raw 1000, for SmackDown 1000, and sure enough, they nailed it out of the park. The only gripe I have was the time restraint. I think they could have gone longer. That's the only nitpick I had. Other than that, great show. Anthony, it's yours.
7 to 7.5 is my rating. Yes, it was better than Raw. We already knew that was going to happen. That's why they gave us a throwaway Monday Night Raw, because they did not want Raw to overshadow SmackDown 1000, and I'll give you that. I mean, we had our moment of glory last week, with that Raw of the Year in Chicago last week, and now SmackDown Live goes over. I'm not surprised. Now let's see what happens when we get to Providence Monday night, gentlemen. That's all there is to say there. And from there, some other things. I mean, I know The Rock is busy doing movies and whatnot. It would have been nice to have had The Rock on the show. That would have been pretty cool. And speaking of commentary, I mean, yeah, you had Jerry the King Lawler and Booker T at that New Day. Well, hold on a minute. That New Day announce table, but for one night only. I would have loved to have seen Michael Cole and Taz on that, because we all know Cole and Taz called more SmackDowns than any announced team in the history of the show. So that would have been pretty cool. JBL, once upon a time, longest running SmackDown champion. Where was he? But I just came across a very interesting dirt sheet, folks. That Truth TV segment was not supposed to be the opening segment on SmackDown 1000 last night. According to PW Insider, the original plan was to have Rey Mysterio and Shinsuke Nakamura open up the show. But later in the day, they changed it. That Truth TV segment was scheduled. The Truth TV segment with the McMahons, that was supposed to be on later. And it also noted that the Undertaker segment was supposed to go longer, but it was always scheduled to be in that main event spot. The segment, along with Mysterio and Nakamura, were cut shorter due to other segments running long. The Rusev Miz was always supposed to run as short as it was. And Batista even ran late. Batista got there at around 6. So those are a couple of notes from last night's show. So read into those what you will, folks. So that's all I can say on that. So other than that, great show. 3 quality matches. Tag team titles stole the show. AJ and Bryan against the Usos, that was fun. And Mysterio and Nakamura, that was very good as well. The segments were all very good. The Evolution segment was the best. Cutting Edge, second best. The True TV was fine. Not the best, but it was fine. And yeah, that one cutout with Rusev and The Miz. So other than that, well done, SmackDown. Congratulations on 1,000 episodes. Here's to 1,000 more. That's all I can say on that. So you get the Duke this week, but I'm hopeful that my guys and gals on Team Red will bring it when they come here on Monday night. Nothing more to say. 7.5. Bullet go.
Yeah, 7 to 7.5. I mean, the only disappointment was that Rusev and Miz match, which was really short, but everything else was really good. I mean, that True TV segment was fine. I mean, the Taker segment, I thought it was short, and the matches I thought were good. So 7 to 7.5 out of 10. So is what I say. So nothing more to say. Fletch, let's wrap it up.
We will indeed wrap it up, and we're going to send it to Anthony Florio to set us up for the future content. So, Florio, is yours.
Of course, I got to ask the age-old question, gentlemen. What time tomorrow night for 205 Live is best for you?
10:30?
You mean College Football Thursday?
College Football Thursday, yeah.
10:30 for me.
That's fine with me.
All right. Okay. That works. We got a smaller than usual docket, gentlemen. We only have 15 games on our schedule. Hard to believe, but yeah. A very surprising. You're not going to believe what I've personally picked as the game of the week. I'm not going to give that away. I'll give that away tomorrow. We have some other. We do have some game of the week matchups. Michigan State. That's going to be great. Oklahoma against TCU. NC State squaring off against Clemson. Colorado against Washington. Mississippi State against LSU. And Oregon against Washington State. Just some of the great matchups we'll get into tomorrow night on College Football Thursday, Week 8. My gosh, we're halfway through already. That's crazy. I mean, I feel like just yesterday we started this thing. But Week 8, we'll run down those 15 top 25 matchups, and then we'll do our power poll. That's 10:30 tomorrow night. And then same time Friday night, NFL Friday, Week 7. Headline matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals against the Kansas City Chiefs. Some other great matchups as well, and our power rankings for that. And remember, and Dede Woodson, while we still have you here, I just want to make sure you know, we will not be doing Ridiculously Raw Monday night. It's going to be pushed back a day because, MF Bullock and I are going to Providence, and it's going to be way too late to do a show. So we're going to push the show back to Tuesday, and Cerebral Smack Talk will probably go on Wednesday. And it's basically going to be a Soldier Up week, and I'll go into details on that on Friday. So that's pretty much all there is for that. So until tomorrow night for College Football Thursday, Anthony Florio here. For everybody who's been a part of this one, bye for now. Have a blessed Thursday, and we'll see you then. So wrap it up, MF.
All right, you guys heard the whole lineup. Next week is Soldier Up week because not only will we have the Ridiculously Raw on Tuesday, Cerebral Smack Talk on Wednesday, Thursday, of course, College Football Thursday, Friday, it will be NFL Friday. Next Saturday, a historic night, 2 historic evenings coming up on the family of networks because for the first time ever, it's Dede Woodson that will be hosting our preview of Evolution. And we also got Derek Ferreira back, and Elizabeth Decker will be making her debut right here on our program as she has been on contact with myself and Anthony Florio to be a part of this big event, and she will be here on Saturday and Sunday. We're gonna work the logistics. Basically, it's gonna be like any other event. Anthony will be running it off his channel, where Dede will be hosting it, and the recap will be on my channel on BraceFan95. I will be basically the producer of it, Dee basically will be running the show on her own. So, with that said, that's what the week's going to look like next week. But until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow night for College Football Thursday. For Anthony Florio, for Dee Woodson, for Michael Bullock, I'm good old MF Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching this. Like the video, leave a comment, share it with all your friends on all social media platforms. Have a good night, everybody, and so long for now. Bye-bye.